John aka Chicken Fillets here, and it's time once again for another remembering episode. This series, well, I'd like to remember about a video game that I've once played. Now in this series, what I like to do is do this in a one-take format, so basically, if there's spoilers, if there's mistakes, well, you have been warned. Now, today's game I want to talk about was kind of a suggestion from a commenter on the channel, was Ni No Kuni 2, because, well, I've not actually completed the first one. I know, boo hiss. So we're looking at Ni No Kuni 2 today, which I played on the PlayStation 4. Now, before we begin, how I like to also talk about this is I like to express how I got into the series, what I thought of the game in general whilst playing it, and the future of said series. So, let's begin with this. How did I get into Ni No Kuni 2? Well, I had played the first Ni No Kuni on the PlayStation 3. My friend lent me it and I played a little bit of it, but I didn't fully get into it, and I gave him the game back because I didn't like to hold on to the game. But when I was getting back into my JRPGs and everything, I remember seeing Ni No Kuni 2 getting advertised and seeing adverts on YouTube, and I really liked the look of it. I mean, the original Ni No Kuni, from what I did play, I really liked the graphical style. Now, I'm not too big into my anime, but Studio Ghibli is a big name. Level 5 are well known for quality games as well, and I had been playing Tales of Berseria. I'm looking at my shelf here to remember, and I knew that Bandai Namco had a good reputation with their games, so I thought, oh, you know what, I want to play Ni No Kuni 2. It looks fantastic, and you know what, I really enjoyed my time with Ni No Kuni 2. Now, what were my general thoughts about this? Well, if you keep an eye on the channel, you'll maybe recognise that I wear a blue hoodie. Now, a lot of people have questioned, is that a Legend of Zelda hoodie? It's not. It's actually a Ni No Kuni 2 hoodie. It's actually Roland's top that he wears in this. So you can tell that Ni No Kuni 2 actually holds a little soft spot in my heart. Now, the game in general, I really enjoyed. Now, I know there was a difference between the gameplay compared to the first one. So, for example, the combat in this game is more of an action-based combat. You've got the little, what are they called again? I don't want to call them niblets. I can't remember what they're called. The little creatures which you can chuck out into battle, they help you whilst you're actually doing your fighting in combat. And I really, you know me, I like my action-based combat games. I didn't really like this one. The story in general. Now, I'll be quite honest with you. I can't remember too much of the story. This, from my remembering, you've got Evan, who is the prince of the land with the cat ears, etc. And he's basically been not kicked out of the kingdom. What sabotaged? Is that the word I'm looking for? Overthrown. That's how. Overthrown by, I think it was either a ferret. I want to say a ferret or some evil animal. And then it's you trying to reclaim your kingdom. You build up a new kingdom. But there is a ultimate evil in the background which you eventually defeat. But then there's Roland. Now, Roland is from the human world, and I remember, I want to say he is a president or an influential figure who's older in the real world, but then he is transported just to help Evan in the nick of time and becomes essentially his bodyguard. And I really like Roland as a character, as you can tell by the story of having the hoodie from Ni No Kuni 2. And another aspect of the game, which a lot of people didn't like, was the city building or the kingdom building, you know, because there's a part of the story when you go through the world map and you find an area and you create your own castle and a little town around it. And I like that town management. I know that it's kind of not controversial, you know what I mean. A lot of people had gripes with this, but I really enjoyed this. I also quite enjoyed the skirmishes that you do. I don't know what it was about them. I just really enjoyed those little skirmishes. Now, usually it would always come down to I'd have a couple party members left or little fighters left, and I'd always used to send like one out at a time, like, and then run back, go back, fight, go back, come back to the base, you know, get health back. It was a long and slow process, but I did, you know what, I did enjoy that. The actual presentation of the game as well. I mean, although it was in Studio Ghibli, you could see the influence here, and it is gorgeous. And every time I play any sort of cel-shaded game and I talk about them, I always bring up the fact that these are timeless, and Ni No Kuni 2 is definitely a example of this. It's just a fantastic looking game. The other part of this as well is that gorgeous, gorgeous world map. This really brought it back to a familiar age. Well, I say familiar age, it sounds daft, does it? A familiar feeling of like my PS1 JRPGs, essentially Final Fantasy 7, 8 and 9, you know, having those world maps. And I really loved this, that you had a world map and they were little chibi characters, which again is totally different from the first one, because when you played the first Ni No Kuni, you know, it was the proper character models which ran around this world map. But it was these little chibi characters as well. I really thought that was cute. But again, it's one of these ones, because I haven't played it in so long, I can't remember all the details of the game. But again, it's one of these games that if I look at it or see things about it online, I always remember how much enjoyment and how much time I did actually shell into this game. One thing I do want to do is actually pick up Ni No Kuni 2 for the Nintendo Switch. I would really like to revisit it on there and just to have it on the go, because you know me, I love playing my JRPGs and RPGs on the Nintendo Switch. So when it comes to Ni No Kuni and its future, so we've been lucky enough that we've had Ni No Kuni 1 and Ni No Kuni 2 ported to the likes of the Nintendo Switch. And if I actually do have Ni No Kuni on the Nintendo Switch now as well, which I do need to get through. Yes, I know. Maybe I should put that in my this year's backlog to get through. But there was talks of a Ni No Kuni 3. I would really love to see that. Whether or not Studio Ghibli comes back, I mean, they've got the style nailed down for this sort of game for Ni No Kuni. So now, if I remember correctly, was there not a MMO style Ni No Kuni? I mean, I don't play MMOs, but I do remember there being a online version of Ni No Kuni. If I'm right, let me know in the comments down below. And if you've played it, do the same. You know, tell me what your thoughts were. But I really hope that we see more Ni No Kuni, because I mean, it's been a very long time. It's been, I think it was 2016 or 2017 that Ni No Kuni 2 came out, so we've not seen any new mainline entries. I mean, yes, we've had the re-releases, but we've not had a mainline yet. So I really hope that they come back to Ni No Kuni, because Level 5 studios are really nailing it down with games just now, the likes of Deca Police, I think that's how you pronounce it. And they've got Professor Layton, and they've got a whole heap of other games that they're working on, which, yes, I know they got delayed till next year, or, well, this year, 2024 and beyond. So I really hope that Level 5, once they get these games out of the way, focus on Ni No Kuni 3, because that would just be outstanding. But what I want to know is, if you've played Ni No Kuni 2, what were your thoughts about the game? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you want to help me... See, this is the problem with doing these in a one-take, one-shot format, because if I make mistakes, well, I told you. Right, let's try again. Now, if you want to help me grow the channel, if you like what you're hearing and seeing on the channel, well, please hit that subscribe button. And if you want to be kept up to date with everything Chicken Fillets, please hit that notification bell. See, I finally got there. Anyway, this has been John, aka Chicken Fillets, and until next time, chatty bye!